Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Joffrey Noodle Eggs here today with little Sullivan. Oh, here he is. Say hello everyone, Sullivan. Hello everybody. Oh, he's beautiful, isn't he? Hey, but no, you've all come here for him. But there we go. Got a little bit different one for you today because we're in October and we are approaching Halloween. So I'm going to go through 10 awesome films that are great to watch on Halloween night. Okay, so there are so many to choose from. There really was. So I tried to be a little bit varied and go with a little bit old school and a little bit sort of like a up to date modern. So bear with me. Okay, so hopefully there's something in there for everyone. That's the way I was sort of looking at it. And it is a great night if you've got a few friends around or family and you want to watch a spooky movie. Yeah, with popcorn and drink, you know, and have a great time. That's what Halloween's about, really. But obviously, I tend to have my own little routines where I don't watch a movie till about sort of like 9, 10 o'clock at night when it's dark and you know yeah, so that's just my little routine which I've always done. So I suppose you've all got your own. But so anyway, I've got 10 movies here that are great to watch on Halloween night. These are my recommendations. Number 10, 19 going right back to 1930s. It's The Mummy with Boris Karloff. Absolutely fantastic film. Really good. I mean, it's old school. It's black and white, but it's still got that sort of eerie, scary feel about it. So if you're not too into really sort of like gory or jump scary sort of horror films, this is the one for you. You know, it's such a good film. I mean, yes, there are Frankenstein, Dracula, and I didn't want to go for something obvious, so I went with The Mummy as one of my choices. Number 10, really good film. Right, number 9 is an 80s classic, and it's been in loads of top 10s of mine. But I'm going to put this through to you as a great watch on Halloween night, and it's The Blob. It's such a cool monster flick. Now, it's got a real 80s feel. The original came out in the 50s with Steve McQueen. So this is a remake. It's one of the very few remakes I actually really like. And it's fantastic. And it's about this meteorite that lands on the planet Earth, and an old boy gets infected with like the blob that's coming out of it, and then he dies, and the blob sort of grow as it sort of consumes more people. It grows bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's awesome. The effects are amazing. It's quite gory though. I'll give you a heads up. It is quite gory, but it's a really cool film. Real 80s classic B movie. The Blob, number 9. Now, number 8 is not one that's talked about too much. It's quite a modern sort of film, really, and this is Hellfest. This is pretty much a film made specifically for Halloween, if you like. It's based at a sort of like a horror Halloween sort of theme park, and it's just, there's a killer sort of killing sort of teens off at the theme park. So it's a no-brainer slasher movie, you know. So if you like your sort of slasher movies, 80s sort of stuff. This isn't 80s film, this is a modern film, but it's got a real 80s sort of feel to the film in the sense of like the way it's sort of shot and the sort of storyline. It's a really cool film to watch, and that's Hellfest in at number 8. Now we've got something quite creepy and scary now in at 7. One of my favourite horror films, but it's really scary and creepy. So it's not an action-packed film; it's a slow burn film, but it is a sort of found on footage, sort of creepy, real sort of feel sort of film. And this is The Paranormal Activity. It's a really sort of scary film. So if you're going to watch a film late at night, I would recommend this, which is obviously about a couple that are experiencing sort of paranormal activities in their house, sort of like from like they believe it to be a ghost, but believe it turns out to be a demon. There is a whole franchise on this. So, and this is the first one. So I think it's a really cool film to watch on Halloween night because it's a little bit different. You know, it's not like your normal sort of slasher film, which is what you probably normally watch. So if you want something to really scare you on Halloween, I'm going to go with Paranormal Activity. number 7. Number 6, another classic 80s slasher movie, especially if you're into sort of like heavy rock music. This is the one for you, and it's Trick or Treat. This stars, what's the guy's name? Mark Price, which is really cool. It's also got Gene Simmons in it and Ozzy Osbourne. And this is about Mark Price plays this teen who goes to high school. Typical sort of like a American sort of like slasher film premise. And he's into heavy metal music, and his favourite singer dies one night. And so he's cut up, and he goes to visit Gene Simmons, who works at a radio station. And Gene Simmons gives him this record to say, you've got to play it at midnight. And he thinks there's a secret message on there if you play the record backwards. So he plays the record backwards at home, and it pretty much reincarnates the singer that's died. And he goes on like a sort of a killing spree. So then it's a hunt down to try and get the to sort of destroy the singer. So it's really, really cool. It's a typical sort of 80s sort of film, but I love it. It's got that real cool sort of teen high school feel to the movie, which I love in my sort of 80s sort of slasher films. And that's a great film. Trick or Treat, especially if you're into rock music. I recommend that. So top 5. Yeah, number 5, a film with quite a similar name, and it's Trick or Treat. This is really cool. This is pretty much made for Halloween again. This is very similar to sort of like films like The Creep Show or Tales from the Crypt. It's pretty much 4 sort of short stories, all based around Halloween night. So it's perfect for a Halloween sort of film, and it's quite creepy. There's Sam there. Look, it's quite creepy. It's a really cool little film. It came out out of nowhere when it came out. No one really was, heard of it, and it just came out one year around sort of Halloween in October, and sort of like it sort of like done really, really well, and it was just sort of like become really popular. And it's a really, really cool sort of Halloween movie. So that's my number 5, Trick or Treat. Number 4, quite another sort of scary sort of film, slasher film, from the 70s, I believe. It could be early 80s, but it's When the Stranger Calls. This is the original, not the remake. I always go the original if you can, okay? Because that's the original story, and it's the original way it should have been made, and it was made. Anyway, When a Stranger Calls, it's about a babysitter who is babysitting the obviously, and the family can't. She keeps getting a phone call saying, have you checked the children? Have you checked the children? And it's. I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to spoil any storylines for you. But it's a babysitter sort of story, slasher film. Really, really cool, fantastic movie. Really suspense, edge of the seat sort of stuff. That's in at number 4. Another fun slasher in at number 3. You can see slashers are really sort of popular for Halloween. This one, I'm not sure how you're going to watch it, but if you can get hold of it, I would definitely get hold of it and watch it. It's called Alone in the Dark, okay, and it stars Jack Palance. I believe it's got Donald Pleasance and Martin Landau. It's such a good cast, and it's such a good film. It's basically it's a little, about these sort of psychiatric patients. They're all in there for different reasons. They're all killers, and they're all sort of madmen, and they all get out one night, and they're sort of like on the loose in the town. So obviously they're trying to hunt them down. But it's such a cool film. It's so underrated, and I wish some company like Arrow or 88 Film would pick this film up and release it, because it really needs it. It's such a good cast. It's quite well acted for a slasher film, and it's just really good fun to watch. I love this film. This is, I believe, a Spanish version. You can pick it up, I think, on places like Amazon or eBay, but there will be in European versions because it's not available in the UK or anywhere, which is a shame. So top 2 are 2 classics then. So I've gone for some bit obscure titles, some sort of scary titles, and some sort of made for Halloween titles sort of thing, really. But so I've got 2 classics for you to end with. Number 2, starring Chris Sarandon and Roddy McDowall, is Fright Night. I mean, the title tells you, really, isn't it? Perfect for a scary movie night. And this is Fright Night. It's just basically about a teen. It's an 80s film. a teen who next door a guy moves in, and he believes to be a vampire. Nobody believes him. They all think, no, he's not. So it's sort of a horror comedy. Anyway, he watches a TV show late at night, a horror TV show, which is presented by Roddy McDowall. And he contacts him to say, look, there's a vampire living next door. Please come and help me. So eventually Roddy McDowall comes round and sort of like goes next door with him and says, oh yeah, you know, just to prove to him that they're not. But he finds out actually they are. So it's a really cool film, and it's a really good story. Great characters, really well acted, and it's quite funny and quite scary at the same time, and quite gory. It is an 18. And that's Fright Night. It's number 2. So number 1 can only be one film to watch Halloween night if you're into it, and that is John Carpenter's Halloween. How could I not include this into it? It's the 1978 original, so this is based on a little bit like Alone in the Dark. At the beginning, we see a young lad kill his sister. He goes to a sort of like psychiatric institution. He escapes like years later, and he goes on the rampage back in the town where he lived in Haddonfield. And Donald Pleasance stars in it. He plays the Dr. Loomis, who's looking for him because he's escaped, and he's stalking all the teenagers in the town, including a very young Jamie Lee Curtis, and some other sort of famous horror actors that have been in quite a few horror films. Really like what's her name, Proby. Yeah, it's a really good, strong cast. Really well acted as well, and it is a typical Halloween slasher movie that is perfect for any Halloween night. But you've probably all seen it, so that's why I chose some that might not have seen. So hopefully I've given you some ideas of something to watch this Halloween night. If you do watch any of them, let me know down below what you thought of them. Right down below, let me know what you thought of them. I will be watching some Halloween. I'm indecisive yet what I want to watch on Halloween night, to be honest. Um, I'll keep you peeled. I don't know if it's going to be any of those 10. It might well be, but I'm going to do some reviews of these films, guys, as it's Halloween month. I'm going to probably do some reviews of Hellfest, and I might do Trick or Treat for you, and I also might do The Curse of Michael Myers, one of the other Halloween films, and I might even do Trick or Treat, just to give you guys a bit more of an insight of that film. But they are my recommendations for Halloween night. Guys, go and check out some channels if you're into your horror movies, and that go and check out Horror Hands, check out The Horror Geek, Horror in Todge, Sarah of Horror. If you like a wider range of films, go and check out Man v Film. And if you like sort of horror films and horror merchandise, go and check out Pizzawell. And if you like tarantulas and horror, go and check out Russell's RS Designs. Anyway, I hope you have a spooky October. This is the season of the witch, so nights are going to be drawing in. We're going to be having leaf falls. We're going to be having wet and windy nights, is hope. You know, I mean that on the weather way, okay? Anyway, guys, until next time, I'll give a good shout out to my lad Lemon Lord, who's really getting into his horror films big time. So a special shout out to him. What is that? Okay, bit of sawdust. I've been feeding me spiders some wax worms, and they're kept in sawdust. But anyway, so anyway, guys, you look after yourselves. Have an awesome Halloween, whatever you do. Watch one of those movies. And if you can't remember, go back and watch my video and share your video with some friends. So here's some cool recommendations for Halloween. Let them know. But look after yourselves, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.